Welcome to Mad Lizard RC. So it's been a while since I posted. I got something new. A lot of people have already seen it from Big B running his, doing a couple things, and there's starting to become a little more popular now. I've seen it. I've been eyeing it for a while and wanting to, try something different, add something new to the collection, and something to kind of have fun, mess around with. So, today, bring in the Blackjack 24. We have all seen them, the normal configuration. And so, I got this last week and been slowly kind of working on a couple different changes to, what I believe, into how I feel and how I, set up boats with, boats. So, first looking at the boat, when I first got it, I've seen a lot of people run, and they run really good. They got a slight hop, but for out of the box, they actually run really well, surprisingly. So, but, I want to take it one step up, knowing me as well. I go mad when it comes to this stuff, hence Mad Lizard. So, I, do a lot of modifications, customizing, I'll look at the hull and you kind of use, what I've learned over years to kind of make changes and get it, set up to my liking. And it seems to be sometimes popular in some other setups and stuff like that. So, when I was first looking at it, I seen like the original battery trays, are up forward. They lock into place, which is really nice. And you can get multiple trays and, do quick battery changes. And then looking at the drive system, it's a really nice drive system, all aluminum, nice propeller on it. Now we're going to be changing the propeller out, and we're doing testing and running and pushing that motor to its limits. I did find out it is a 4-pole 2200 3660, so it should have some good torque to it, and it gives me an idea of what kind of propellers I can throw at it. So, first starting off is, the propeller is set where it's going to be set. It's all hard mounted, so we can't really lift that up. We can't really drop it, make any changes. So we're kind of, at that point, kind of stuck. Because it is, to me, I got a couple catamarans, and usually that propeller is set, even to the bottom sponsons. This one's really sucked up. So that would, give that boat a really high nose attitude and an angle attack really, high up in the air. So the only other, advantages you have is in your battery placement and where your weight is to kind of overcome it if there's any type of blowovers, riding on how the water planes out and stuff like that. So, also, with the configurations of how it is, looking at the trays are really small. So, for like 2S lipos, maybe 3S lipos, doing a 6S conversion, etc. So, but, I have a lot of these, SMC 5000s, I do a lot of racing. So these 4S lipos, I have a lot of these. So, my intention is to use these and not have to go out and buy a whole bunch of new batteries. That's what I'm trying to do. And so maybe someone finds this kind of helpful. But, these are just SMC 5000s, 80C, lipos, 4S packs. I'm not going to run them in an 8S configuration, only in a 4S configuration parallel. So I'm going to set this boat up kind of similar to a lot of my racing boats. And see how much power can we pull out of out of 4S. Excuse me. And so that's the idea. So, these two are going to be set up in parallel. So 4S parallel, so it's pulling voltage off two batteries in a 4S configuration instead of, but instead of being two batteries in a two battery 4S series. So technically you're running off one battery, but you're increasing your voltage. So, but when you do a parallel, you can actually gain a little bit more power voltage and less of a drop when you're running two batteries in a parallel, because it's drawing off of a higher milliamp and two batteries to support it versus a single battery, but if that makes sense. But anyways, back to it. So to get these to fit, they're already tight already to get them in there, and they do not fit the tray. So, one of the biggest things I've started to kind of see, especially social media, even myself, is the tray that's in there is pretty well hard setted. You can't really do anything, change, bring the batteries back, forward, do anything. And then also, in the center, look closely, there's not really anywhere to kind of be able to put anything flat or battery, be able to secure it. So that's where, what I'm trying to achieve. So, I came up with, this carbon fiber tray. This is my first one, first prototype. They're not perfect. They're slightly tight, but it works. So basically how it works is, it's got these pieces right here, these insets all the way through, all the way up and forward and back. There's a couple of them offset, but this tray right here, you go in, lock into the little openings there, and then you slide it forward and it clicks in. It's a little tight, but it works for right now. So with my batteries being so big, I'm doing Velcro. I've actually had really good success on Velcro. This is 10-pound Velcro. Excuse me, you guys. And, I've never really had a battery come loose from Velcro. And it's, done me well. Now, if my battery's a lot smaller, I could probably get away with, doing Velcro, doing the straps. Because these, I did, design it with the cutouts for the straps, as you can see. It's just, the cavity in there's just really tight. So this is kind of the best option I have at this moment. But, me, I'm always changing it. I'm always modifying it and improving designs down the road. So, I'll find, over time, this will get perfected and much simpler. Because, the idea is to, be able to take this out, pull up on this, pops out, pull it out, put your battery, new battery, put it in, and then click it in. And so, that's the idea there and going with. So as you can kind of see where we kind of are at right now, you kind of push the front in, and then, so, again, it's not perfect, but, God always starts from somewhere. And then it pushes in, it locks this backside in, and then there it goes. Again, it's not perfect, but it's something for now. And then you just kind of push in like that. Of course, when I do it off camera, it works every time. And then when I'm on camera, it being a little tool, but again, first prototype, at least it gets it to testing. And gets it testing. So like, here's my second one. I modified this edge a little bit more. Let's try this one. My first one I made, I kind of make a slight couple of sand marks in there, kind of adjust it. And, it's hard when, see, there it goes. See, that one goes in a little bit nicer. So my second one here, I just, I made a couple slight changes. I made that much simpler. Went right in. And again, this is, going from, designing it in AutoCAD to 3D printing, trying to get multiple mock-ups, and then going to my CNC machine and cutting out the material. And, you're working with two different materials, the tolerances are different. So, again, it takes a couple times to finally kind of get it going. But anyway, so that's where I'm at. And so, this little pull cord, I designed it with a hole. So you can either do like this trick right here, string. However, I haven't really, kind of thought, haven't really kind of created anything more than what this is at this moment. But again, this first run. But anyway, so you slide that in there. Right now for me, since my batteries are so big, it's just easier to put my batteries in there, line it up, and I can, also this tray, again, go into this position here, move up farther, which then pushes your batteries up. And then I'm also working on, after some testing, then I'm going to play with the servo, because it would be nice to get these batteries farther back if I need to. So, I have this little piece right here, and there's these little pieces that hold the water lines. So these can pop out. This will slide down on top of those, and then you can do a screw to hold this down, and then take your servo, move it forward more right here, getting it out of this area where the battery can be. And yeah, you would have to kind of bend linkage, but nothing new, and get to kind of move over. So this one is a possibility, but I wanted to run the boat in that configuration. So getting both trays in there, getting the batteries in there, and figuring out where that COG wants to be, and then throw some different propellers at it and see, what this motor can take. I am very curious with this motor. Now, a lot of people are going to the 120 amps, so that was a get-go right off the bat. Take the 90 out, put the 120. Now, a lot of people will just put it in there at an angle like this, and because it hits, the screw heads, the motor can move forward. I tried that, but it doesn't work. So what I ended up doing was, you're making these little pieces right here. So, one screw, you can attach the screws into the post and then attach 2 more screws into the ESC. So you can slide the ESC a little bit farther and hard mount this in. You're not on an angle and brings the ESC closer to the bottom of the deck. I'm a detail person. I can't, this would just drive me nuts being an angle, and I would see that a lot and just drive me nuts. So, my goal to me, I'm very detail again, is this thing to sit nice and flush. It's lower to the deck, it's not really high. So the lower the better. And then, which I did have to modify the foam and cut it out, which I just used an X-Acto knife, went in there and cut it out a little bit more to give me the space I needed to get the ESC up just slightly forward. And doing so does add a little bit more weight forward, but that's okay. Anyway, so that's where I'm at with this. I wanted to kind of show, kind of update some of the couple things I've been working on and something, new to try. And so, these are still prototyping. I'm still playing around with these. As you see, my first one was a little tricky to get in there. I've got them in there before. My second one that's in there right now is a little bit, I kind of figured out where the tolerances were. And so the second one was made a little bit better. So when I make some newer ones, of course, I want to modify it and just got this lip and change that lip a little bit more and then add a better relief cut, because this has got to be able to bend a little bit like that. So, but again, I'm still playing with this idea. But anyways, so that's where I'm at right now. And so, but, keep tinkering, testing, and tuning. That's how we roll. Thank you for watching.